planning the gondola build. Uh, we be planning this build. Let's let things get loaded up here. I want to do something with this back wall. It looks real rough. I think it can make it look a lot better. But it's not a priority. Not a priority. I'll do that as kind of a selly once I get proper video made. So, we talked a lot about the gondola video yesterday. I'm feeling quite good about it. I feel like it's the way to go. I've pitched the idea to the people that need to know, and so I'm just waiting for a response. But I'm gonna assume it's gonna be a go ahead on that. But I'll obviously change course if not. But yo, Ruby, what's going on? Yeah, my day ended up changing. I was supposed to go out of town today, but I'm going tomorrow now. So it opened me up more than I was expecting. So figured I'd start streaming early and basically work on this stuff all day if I can, with breaks in between, obviously. So I'm gonna start looking more into the details of what I need for this gondola build. Um, I feel like I kind of already have the main design of like the frame structure that's going to hold my bicycle wheel, which will be the bull wheel of the lift. These pulleys, I'm probably going to 3D print them because I can just put a bearing in there, 3D print them, and then I can make the groove or whatever is going to interface with the cable a specific shape so that it stays on, but allows the individual cars to pass over. So the one thing I really need to figure out is a tensioning mechanism. So I need to figure out a way that I can actually tension this thing. And considering the line's going to be like 250 feet, and that is a major estimation. I have not measured. I'm doing it purely by eye right now, but that's kind of what I'm estimating the length of the drop is. We're not talking just a little bit of tensioning. It's probably going to need like multiple feet of tensionability. This is actually something. Let me just quickly ask my boy, little Gem. Considering the gondola build, I know I am gonna need some way to tension the bull wheel once the cable loop is installed. How much travel will this tensioner need? How are you doing, Ruby? What are you up to? You joined this one fast. I usually sit here for like a few minutes before anybody joins. So that's nice. Cable stretch. I'm probably going to use a low stretch synthetic, to be honest. Okay, 15 to 30 inches. Oh, Twitch does notifications? That's awesome. Oragamuffin, how you doing? Finishing your dinner. Oh yeah, so this is like premium time for you now. Okay, that's cool. That's good to know. I don't know anything about Twitch, so this is great. Oragamuffin, you having a good Monday? Ooh. if I do paracord, it's a 25-foot. Um. Okay. So I want the cheapest possible cable or rope. That is also gonna allow me to do the 30-inch tension travel. On which streaming are you doing most of the chat? Usually YouTube. That's where I started streaming. I just added the Twitch thing um, within the last week. But I'm leaning more towards it because I like how quick the responses are. YouTube has like a pretty considerable delay, like 15-second delay, whereas Twitch is like 2 seconds. So I feel like I can actually like ask you guys questions and not have to like do something while I wait for an answer. So it's like way better. Okay, the tensioner, 30 inches of travel, best budget, galvanized aircraft cable. That's going to be cheaper. Oh, it's only 10 cents a foot. Why was I thinking it was like $1 a foot? So that would be pretty good. Um, that's pretty good. 1/8 inch aircraft cable, 500-foot roll. Okay, so not bad actually. Not bad. That might be the way to go. Is there even wait, did it recommend? Okay, so based on this, I am leaning towards the aircraft cable again. What is the smallest size I could realistically go? And once again, how am I going to be able to make a continuous loop out of this cable? So I'm gonna go to like a Home Depot tomorrow. I'm gonna pick up a small length of this stuff as well as some of the more like rope style, like nylon or whatever. And because one of the key factors is I need to be able to make this a continuous loop. And apparently it's in ski lifts, the people that can actually turn those cables into a loop are like, it's like the most secure job ever because there's only a couple people that do it, apparently. And they you fly wherever you have a ski lift in the world, you have to fly these individuals to your lift to do it for you. So apparently it's a really, really hard thing to do. But I don't think we're dealing with the tolerance. Well, we're dealing with less tolerance because it's smaller cable. But like the safety concerns are not there. I don't really care if this thing breaks. Hopefully it doesn't break with mice on it. But I just need it to be like decent. It doesn't need to be perfect. So requires a surprising amount of horizontal tension. Pulling a line taut across a long distance multiplies the force exponentially. I'd ask Gemini to model the catenary. Yeah. That's a good point. Can you model a cable sag on 2 poles, one of which is X feet? Yeah, I will do that. Sorry you have to go, but I will be streaming at the regular time today as well, like 3-ish. What time is it now, just to give you context? Yeah, it's one now. So like, yeah, I'm probably gonna stream for an hour and a bit, take a bit of a break, and then I'll come back on and do a bit more. So I'll likely see you later. But good luck with the appointment. And that's a really good tip. I'm gonna look into that. I have to like scout the area a bit too because I want to figure out what the kind of approximate slope is, um, and figure out what the actual distance is because I don't actually know yet. But what I did confirm today or yesterday actually, um, it looks like I have a line of sight down to the bottom, so I'm not going to have to deal with any like trees being in the way, any big trees. I'm gonna have to obviously clear bush and stuff like that, but that's totally fine. I want to do that anyways. It's better for the fire safety of the property anyways, so it's not gonna hurt. Um, 16-inch cable has a safe working load of only about 96 pounds, which the installation tension alone would likely exceed before any carriage weight. Really? Only 96 pounds? That's crazy. Eighth inch is the most realistic minimum size. It has a breaking strength of around 1,700 pounds and a working load of 340 pounds. Okay, eighth inch. That's fine. $100 for that. That's doable. The swaged lap joint. If a long splice is too complex or time consuming, you can overlap the two cable ends parallel to each other and crush 2 or 3 copper aluminum oval sleeves. Yeah, so I think I could probably do a long splice. Um, for the long splice, would I need some way of welding the the frayed edges? I think it said I don't need to, but I just want to like verify this. Okay, so I actually can't. Pulling into rastness while you're handling them, you can use a technique called seizing. Before you make any cuts on the strands, wrap the cable tightly with a binding material. Okay, electrical tape. The tuck. You don't secure the ends on the outside of the cable, you bury them on the inside. Is there a video of anyone doing this with 1/8 inch? What was it called? 1/8 inch. $7.19. That's what I need. I need to just see that it's possible. Once I see, and I'll obviously, I'm gonna do this test tomorrow when I get the right little test piece, but may as well watch somebody do it. Okay. Oh, it's gonna generate me a visual. I don't really need a visual. That's the visual? Oh, okay, the step. Interlocking, yeah. Honestly, not super useful. Um, what can I search to try and find a real world example of someone doing this. I forgot to get water. No, I'm thirsty. I have a little bit. We'll get some in a second. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to mute this. That's frustrating. Okay, so you unfurl it. The edit is to the music, I could tell already. Yeah. Right, so once you have that, separating the strands. Look at that needle. That's just a big needle. Okay. This is going to take some finesse, I think. Whoa, this is pretty cool. I don't understand how that tip disappeared. Somebody said on my last video, hi, using AI clips is corny and bad for the environment. Take 30 more seconds and find a stock video cornball. Pretty sure I didn't use any AI clips in this video, actually. But I want to confirm. These are the comments. These are the comments that I live for. These are the comments that I live for. Let's see. Okay, I know there's nothing AI in any of this. Yeah, that's all real. That's all stock footage. Stock footage. Well, that's not stock footage. That's a clip from somebody's YouTube video. Yep. Stock, right? That's all stock. Stock footage. My footage, my footage, my footage. Definitely capable of solving those problems. As a side note, I have discovered that I can stream Twitch while driving. Yeah, just be safe. Don't type or anything like that. Um, yeah, I'm actually like I would say I'm more on the side of AI, like the concerned side of AI, than the full adoption side. And I actually don't use it as much as my colleagues do, but I do use it. And like for things like quick researching stuff, you can't rely on it, but it's a great way to sort of get a fundamental down and figure things out quicker. I use it for thumbnails because thumbnails is annoying. Um, but I rarely use it in a video sense. I'll occasionally use it for um like coming up with like a graphic, like an animation or something. I did that in the last video. But I don't think I used it a single time in this video. And I just want to be sure before I call this guy a cornball back. Yo, Rosenberg. It's going good. I just I had a comment that fired me up, and now I have to just confirm something. The comment is, "Hi, using AI clips is corny and bad for the environment. Take 30 more seconds and find a stock video, cornball." So he called me a cornball, and that just is like too far. But I'm pretty sure I didn't use a single AI clip in this video, so just confirming. I'm not actually sure if I did or not. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Yes, am I wasting time to respond to one comment? 100%. Is it worth it? Probably not. Will I enjoy it? Yes. Yes, I will. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like 0. I could have just opened up the session. That might have been better. Wait, yeah, all of these are stock. All of this is stock. People like I get so fired up. It's so frustrating because it's just like these people don't understand the amount of time it takes. And like I have so many most of my videos, like the ceiling fan one in particular, was crazy the amount of people that were like mad at me for building something when I could have just bought a new ceiling fan. It's like you completely miss the entire idea of just like the joy of building things. And it's the same with this one too. There's a couple people that are like, you don't even understand how drumming works. If you were actually a good drummer, you would know. And it's like, first of all, I was a professional drummer. I probably am a better drummer than you, despite the fact that I don't even consider myself a very good drummer. But like, what is wrong with just building things? People get like mad about building things. Um, and it's crazy. And there's always going to be people in the comments that are negative, and I think a lot of it comes down to like, you know, maybe it's a jealousy thing, seeing a bunch of other good comments. Maybe it's a fear of change thing, which I totally understand, and there's a lot of things about that I fear about change. Okay, I'm gonna respond to this. Oh, okay, I gotta do it on my phone because it's not showing up for some reason. Didn't use any AI clips at all? Question mark. No. Didn't use any AI clips at all, period. But I appreciate the comment, comma, cornball. Winky face. But at the end of the day, that's what these people want, is they want you to stop making videos for some reason. And that's why they make these comments. And so the best thing you can do is just like double down, make more videos, I think. I dare you to point out. And the funny thing is, I did use a bunch of stock footage, but the person is specifically saying I should have used stock footage. So the stock footage might be AI. I don't know. It was on Canva. I don't even have a stock footage thing. Okay. That was. People have forgotten what it's like to leisure. If it's not the most efficient thing, it must be a waste of time. Yeah, and it's not even that. It's like, well, yes, it's this whole de-skilling thing. Like people are more open to just buying a solution that already exists rather than just like, hey, you realize it can't be a bad thing to want to understand how things work and build them yourself. It might not be the most efficient thing. It probably isn't going to make you money or anything. And that's totally fine. That's not the point of this at all. Um, I don't try to fix my own plumbing because it's the most efficient way to do it. I try and fix my own plumbing because I want to understand how it works, because sometimes you can't call somebody. And it's the exact same thing, but with, obviously, the more conceptual you go, the less potential benefit it has, other than just the learning experience, which I think is the most beneficial thing. Yeah, yeah. And like I'm like kind of against AI to an extent. Like I really don't like what it's doing to the music industry, and like I worry for my friends that are, have made careers being the most amazing musicians, and like that's the risk with the AI stuff. Um, but I use AI all the time, and I I I I tell myself now that I will never use it for making music. Um, but you never know. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to be in a while, but so far I haven't used it for making any music. Yo, Ruby, I didn't I didn't know you left. Um, but I assumed because you were. Oh, I'm finished the video watching. Oh, I didn't notice that. Sorry, I missed that message. Um, I just had to respond to a mean comment. Um, and that's what we're talking about, because people are just like some certain people just love to try and like find a gotcha moment, and in this case they were wrong, and it was very satisfying to prove them wrong. I was being accused of using AI footage in my video, which honestly, some of my videos have some AI stuff, but not like footage. I use it to make graphics, but in this case I didn't use a single thing of AI in the whole video. So um, the person was wrong, and I stuck it to him. Okay, so I think, yeah, the braided wire is the way to go. I think I'm gonna like basically get this stuff. But it's 1 by 19. I don't know. I'm looking at this listing. The price is right, but it's 1 by 19. There's never going to be a video ever that doesn't have some negative comments on it. And that is the unfortunate thing is it's like my like to dislike ratio on my videos is always like 98, 99%, and the comment ratio is probably about the same, but it's that one negative comment that you think about. Despite there being 99 like super positive comments and everything, um, that one negative comment, and it could be totally wrong, but it's still something that you're going to think about more. And it's a problem because I love reading the nice comments. It's like one of my favorite parts. But I'm always nervous to open up my phone and see a negative one that just like ruins my day. Oh, single peach, get out of here. Is there? Am I supposed to like block these or something? Oh yeah, add to block list. Okay, I'll do that. Boom. Wait. Rosenberg, are you? Yeah, I just banned them. Rosenberg, are you totally unaware of the Gondola project, or have you heard me talk about it and just now you're seeing me actually like look into building it? Because I feel like I've talked about this idea now for like 3 days straight. Totally unaware. Okay. This is great. Um, so I had this idea, and I wasn't even gonna make a video about it. I was just gonna do this on my own time because uh because I'm a bit of a freak. But basically, I have a mouse problem. I have a pretty large property and a chicken coop and everything, and the mice are just like overwhelming the chicken coop. And so like I can trap them pretty easily with like a bucket trap, but I don't want to kill them because um I just feel bad, especially when it's like I'm catching 20 a night. So I'm going to build a gondola system right by my chicken coop so that I can capture these mice alive every night and then send them down 250 feet to the bottom of my property because I live on a big hill. It's like almost a cliff. And so I'm going to just send them down and release them at the bottom and put the end of the gondola in the middle of your neighbor's farm. Well, this is actually the funny thing because I was like, yeah, that was one of my concerns is like, am I just giving this problem to a different area? But I am sending them down. It's going to be nowhere closer to my neighbors than they are now. Luckily, my down at the bottom of the hill, there's just a ginormous hay field, so the mice will just kind of like scatter. And then I was looking it up because I was like, is this even going to be like helpful? They're just going to climb back up, right? And it's like, yeah, if you really wanted to like completely evict the mice so they absolutely never come back, you'd have to bring them like a couple miles away, which is obviously not going to happen. But because the hill is so considerable and it is pretty far away, they're more most of them are more than likely going to just like rehome that area down there where there's nothing down there. And because there's less food sources and stuff, they should sort of just like like breed less while they're down there, and it'll kind of just be like a natural concentration of mice as opposed to like the over concentrated amount I have around my chicken coop. And I'll just keep catching them and sending them down there, and that's kind of the nice thing with the gondola is it'll be so easy for me to just hook the trap up, send them down every day. If a couple of them make it back up, that's fine. I'll just keep trapping them and sending them down until they realize, okay, this is not worth the trouble. And yeah, they'll kind of thin themselves out. Got a ton of hawks in the area. Got a ton of like I don't like the mice, but I don't want to personally kill them. Um, yeah, small. I was thinking about like a little moat, just make like a little mouse island. Um, yeah, and so it wasn't going to be a video, but then I started thinking about it and realizing like a lot of my videos are extremely niche, which I like, but it would be nice. It would be nice to have something that's a little more generally, uh, made for a general audience. And I think this is the one. And so like I thought this is obviously super AI generated, just like BS thumbnail, but it would be something like this. And I think it'll have like kind of that Mark Rober cute meets heavy engineering vibe to it. And there could be a real story there, because the real reason I want to do this is I absolutely hate these mice. They're deer mice, so they are carriers of the hantavirus, which is terrible. Um, it's extremely rare disease, and basically nobody ever catches it, but it is a thing, and if you get it, it's extremely dangerous. So I just don't want to be working around my property constantly thinking that I touched something that these mice touched. So I want to just get rid of them as much as possible, but I don't want to kill them because I don't like killing animals. And they are genuinely pretty cute. But they get into stuff, they destroy things. Um, it's just like not something I want around my place. So the motivation is actually genuinely there. I know I've already told a bunch of my neighbors and stuff about this idea, and they think it's ridiculous because like, why wouldn't you just kill them? And I totally understand. Um, and full disclosure, I have done that, and I just feel terrible every time. And it's also like I don't like it, so I just want to do something that's a little better, makes me feel a little better about myself. So that is the motivation. So I think it's it's got a strong motivation for the video. There's going to be a good story there. It's a real life thing. I'm not just making this up for a YouTube video, and that's something I really don't want to be doing on this channel. I don't want to just make ideas because they're clickable. But obviously, if I'm going to have an idea that I'm going to do anyways, and then I realize it's super clickable, that's like the holy grail. It's not niche, so you don't need to be a musician or an engineer to specifically get this video. You can get it right away, regardless who you are. And it's going to be big. It's going to be a massive scale project. So there's going to be it's going to be a real test of engineering in, I think, a really fun way. And then as far as the actual, like, this will be a gondola, which I think is pretty, people understand what this is, but also don't fully understand the engineering that actually goes into them because they're actually quite complex. But what I have to do is I have to create it so each of these gondola cars is going to be the traps that I set up at night to capture the mice. And so they're not going to be this big. They're going to be way bigger than the mice, and I'm going to be able to capture like 20 mice in each trap. I'm probably going to set like 5 of them up. And then I'm going to send the traps down, and they need to automatically, without any electronics, hit some sort of trigger at the bottom that opens the bottom of the trap up and drops the mice automatically without me having to do it manually or without having to use electronics to do that. So there's going to be a really cool engineering aspect to it that is totally unique from a standard gondola system. That Mark Rober squirrel video is still, in my opinion, one of the best videos ever released on YouTube. And it is because it's adorable. But it's it's pretty good engineering too. But the way he kind of frames it as a story, and like the fact that that squirrel, Fat Gus, actually ended up being a girl and all that stuff, and it was pregnant, so he was giving her all the food and everything at the end. That's a perfect ending to that. It's not going to be that sentimental for this one, but I think the in lieu of having that sentimental, like, oh, these mice are super cute and they have their own little story vibe, it's going to be more about the fact that, like, these mice are a big problem for me and I really don't like them. And, it'll be interesting to see what my feeling about them after I do this is. I could set them up a little town down there if I need to, but I don't really want them to, like, propagate down there. I just want them to kind of disappear. So, so here's sort of the model I have so far, right? So at the top of my property here, these are 4x4s. This is a bike rim. And these are going to be some idlers. And so basically this is where the loop happens, and so I'll hang up my traps here. There's going to be a window. You can frame it as they haven't done anything wrong to me, but they are diseased. Yeah, exactly. Like, I hate them, but I feel bad that I hate them because it's not their fault. They're just doing what we do, what any species would do. They're taking advantage of, the abundance of food that we have here and stuff, and it's not their fault, but they ruin things and they make it so I don't want to, like, they carry disease, and that sucks for my family. So I have to protect my family. I have to protect them. So I'm going to use a window, an automatic window motor, which are like super cheap. They're like $15, but they're really strong. And I'll have that hooked up to a sprocket that's hooked up to this, and I'll be able to change the direction of it. But mostly I'll just have a little switch so that when you switch it on, the wheel starts spinning and it moves a cable. And on the cable, I'll have brackets that hang off in a specific way so that the brackets can go over the idlers and around the main wheel here. What is it called again? I already forgot. And so then every morning I can just grab my traps, hang them up here, hit the button, and send them down. And now here's kind of the scale, and this is totally estimated because I haven't actually measured this yet. But like, the hill is pretty significantly big, and so I'm gonna send them all the way down here. And then down here, there's going to be basically a copy of this, but on the other way. And then once it gets to the bottom, there will be some sort of trigger that releases them down here, and then the cars can wrap around and come all the way back up. And then I'll have some sort of stop on this end, so once the cars reach the top, it triggers the stop, and the thing stop, and the motor stops. So I can actually basically hook them up, press go, and then walk away, because it'll probably be like a 5-minute round trip or whatever. So being able to walk away and then just have it stop, and then I can unload the traps and set them up again for the next day. You can also mention the good things that the mice do. At this point, I don't know. I don't know the benefits of having the mice on my property. I'm sure there are benefits, like to the grand scheme of things in the ecosystem, but I'll you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave. I don't want to look this up right now. I'm gonna leave it because right now my motivation is purely like, I hate them, but I don't want to kill them. And then as I work on this video, I will actively learn about what they actually provide to the ecosystem, and then I can incorporate that, and that can be part of the stories. It might change my mind a little bit. It might not. But I really like that angle. I really like having some sort of angle like that's gonna potentially change the motivation throughout the video. I'm just gonna grab a water quickly. I'll be back in like 5 seconds. Um, yeah, the only reason I don't want to kill them though is because I just don't. I just it just makes me feel bad, and I don't know why it makes me feel bad. It's just the way I am like I don't like killing bugs. I don't like killing anything, even though it's often the right move. Oh, I was so thirsty there. But there might be more reasons to not want to kill them. But literally, it's a personal guilt. Personal guilt is the only reason I don't want to kill them. Right now. And I think that's good enough motivation for the beginning. I think that's a really relatable motivation for a lot of people. Um, Maybe not like the farm folks in my neighborhood, but um, yeah, I just kind of grew up not wanting to kill anything. I'll kill a mosquito, pretty like adamantly. But like spiders and stuff, I hate it. I'd rather just take them outside. Um, but I want the guilt factor to be the main driving force because I wouldn't do any of this. None of this would be even considered if it wasn't simply because I feel guilty about it. And I kind of want people to be like, "Oh my gosh, you did all of this for an animal that you don't even like, just because it's like a little bit of guilt." And that is 100% like the most genuine thing. Um, so I need a way to tension this. So I'm going to be able to essentially I'll have all this room, so I'll be able to move this forward a few feet, and then I need a way to tension it. And I think I can just use like some ready rod or something that I can just attach a drill to, and it'll just pull this thing. Why aren't you letting me move? Okay. Oh, is this somehow one body now? It is. Okay. Split body. Yeah, so I need some way to be able to tension this from here out to here. So I think some sort of carriage that this is attached to, and then have some sort of threaded rod that I can screw, and it'll pull this nice and tight. Because the other thing too is this is actually a road right here, and the cable line's going to be coming like right across like this. And so I think it should be able to clear it so like I can get a truck down there. But if I need to get like the backhoe or the excavator down there, obviously I'm going to need to be able to remove the cable. So I want to have some good way of easily taking the cable off when I need to. And then also, um, most importantly though, I need to be able to tension this because this has to be a fully tensioned system to work properly. So I'll think about that. No, it's our service road, and I actually haven't driven down there in years. Um, we have a well somewhere down there, um, and like I did recently have it serviced, and they were able to drive a truck down there, but I basically never use it. Um, it's like fully overgrown. There's like literal trees in the middle of the road, so which does mean I do have to bring some machinery down there to clear the road at some point. But so I'm just planning for that, and I'm going to need to be able to clear the way and allow any machine to go down the road. Yeah, can you imagine if I was doing this over a public road? That would be they'd shut this down so fast. So I think basically what I'm going to need to do actually to make this work is probably have some sort of like steel structure. Just like a thin steel structure. Like this. Oops. Just doing this super arbitrarily. So this whole steel structure can slide back and forth, and this is what the main wheel will be attached to. So this is like, this is the main piece. I could even have the motor attached to this. And I think all I'll need is like 2 steel plates and then some sort of block in between. And that's it. And then I just need some way for it to ride. Like it could literally even have like this on it, because I can probably find, you know what, I can even use like Ready Rod. Ooh, Ready Rod would be perfect. Or not Ready Rod, Unistrut. This is obviously a ginormous piece of steel. It doesn't need to be like that, but Unistrut would work great. And then when you have this, you can see it'll slide. It'll slide along there. And that's how it'll stay attached to the frame. But the actual tensioning, yeah, that'll work. That'll work great. I think Unistrut is the key. I could even build the whole thing out of Unistrut if I need to. No, I shouldn't, because that's going to be expensive. But this thing I could build out of Unistrut and then just have a track on either side of this. I think that's what I'm going to do. I only need like a couple pieces of Unistrut. And just for reference, this is the stuff I'm talking about. This stuff. Right, so I'll easily be able to bolt it together. No welding, because I have a welder, but I don't know how to use it. And I don't want to start on this. But this is just like giant Legos, basically. Yeah, I think that'll work great. Okay, so that's that. Now I want to figure out what the cars are going to look like and how the release mechanism is going to work on the cars. So the typical trap that I use currently that is extremely effective is a bucket trap. But I want to see like smallest live mouse traps. Actually, no. I'm gonna look up best live mousetrap. Sorry, sorry for the bourbon. So there's a bunch of options for these live mouse traps. I want mine to look like a little gondola car, and I'm gonna design these from scratch. Victor Tin Cat is ideal for safe single catch releases. Live, best live multiple mousetrap. Aiton multi catch. How does this work? Uh, right, so this is just a little door. All right, let's look at the catch master. How does it work? I think it's literally just a little door. Okay. See, this is basically what I use. Um, this I can't. This one here. I print those, and they work. They work a dream, but I don't like the shape of the bucket. I want the shape to be like a. Yeah, look how effective these are. But I want it to be the shape of a little gondola. So I'm thinking these ones are going to be easier to turn into that gondola shape. Move my little guy over here, I think. Hmm. I don't. What I don't understand is when the door closes behind them, how does it reopen again for the next mouse? This is the same video. Oh. And then they have to walk forward. Yeah, so that seems pretty good. Um, so basically, I think like I could even just buy these and just take the mechanisms out of these, which might be the way to go, just because they're already made for that. They seem to work pretty good. Um, DIY live mouse trap. I just want to see like what options are out there because the bucket traps work good, but I don't like I don't like the shape. You know, they have to be really tall because mice can jump really high. They have to be really tall and they have to be really well, and they're round and stuff, which obviously that's easy to fix. But I don't like how tall they are. So does this vacuum them up? Oh my gosh, that is crazy. I really like those Catchmaster ones because that I could easily just throw into. I could easily just throw that into a different shape, and basically the gondola. Okay, wait. Um, yeah, like I'm, kind of want to go this shape. You know what I mean? Cable car, like this. These old fashioned ones is kind of like the vibe I'm looking for. This is a great shape. I feel like I could put a ton of mice in one of those. This one's kind of balling looking. You know, that's kind of the plan. And so I'll make it cute. I'll put little acrylic windows in there because I think I can cut acrylic with the H2C. Yeah, just like that. It could be simple like that. Like this one's pretty. No, thank you. This one's pretty simple looking. Lots of glass. I like that. And then I just need a way of getting the mice actually in there. And then this is the whole system that is gonna allow me to hang it. So I think basically this part will be attached to the rope at all times. And then I'll just have a little connection point here that I can easily hang this guy onto the hook without having to touch the trap at all, because that's the whole point. I don't want to be touching this stuff that the mice are all over. And then the bottom somehow needs to open up once this gets down. Once this gets down to the bottom of the track. So some way, and like it's honestly it feels like kind of an easy thing to figure out the release mechanism, but I need it to be like super reliable, and I don't want to just have a big arm sticking out that gets pulled at a certain point because that arm could get stuck on a branch or something down the way, and I don't want to release the mice prematurely. It wouldn't really matter, but um, I want to make sure they aren't released until we get to the bottom. That's why I was kind of thinking like some sort of magnetic switch that can only trigger once there's another magnet around. That might be the way to go. That way nothing else can trigger it except for that magnet. Um, yeah, that might be the way to go. And then the other thing, so I need to design DIY model cable car. Everyone makes, like, all these videos that I've seen on these cable cars, they're all made out of cardboard. Oh, here we go. Let's see what this guy's up to. Love this. Love this so far. Oh, look at that. Bull wheel, that's what that part's called. Not only are they decorative. Okay, here we go. What? Oh, so these ones don't wrap around. These ones just come up, hit that little switch, and then go back, I think. Yeah, I don't. That's what I don't want. I need it to. I want it to wrap around. So I just want to. I want to, because I have it in my head how it's going to work, but I want to see. I need visual proof. The verification is key. Gonna mute this because I don't know if that's. Yeah. So see how that basically attaches to the string at like it has like a hook. That's all you need. Why are these all cardboard? 3D printed cable car. Third attempt. Okay, I like it. I like that this person. This is interesting. I like this. Okay. I don't really know what this is. Oh, that's kind of fun, but that's not what I need. Maybe not 3D printed ski lift. I don't want to like I've looked up. I usually call it a gondola, but okay, here we go. This is exactly what we're looking for. So you see how it's clipped on there, and that allows it to go under. Yeah, that's what I need. Um, HO scale. Oh, he's using. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. That's for sure. Here we go. Yeah, this is this is basically it, right? It's super simple. Um, Now what's interesting is these are actually like quite. Those are quite a bit bigger than the diameter of the rope, and so when it actually goes over, there's quite like this one looks like it's about to fall off. It didn't though. But this is basically the idea. Super simple. They wrap around the cable. They also go under those ones. That seems pretty easy. This one has a detachable ropeway. This will be interesting to watch. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, look how clean that is. Ooh, this one's got detachable. It detaches from the bull wheel and actually goes into its own like unloading dock where it slows down so the skiers can get out. Look how nice this is. Those are cool. I want to see how what he's using to attach these to the cable. Like what that holy cow. I'm going to need a drone shot on this and I don't know anybody with a drone. This is cool. So this little mechanism here, this is actually extremely complicated. This little mechanism, what this is, this little arm actuates this little claw, and this is the little claw that grabs onto the rope. And so when it gets into this part of the system where it's being driven by these tires, it's no longer attached to the rope anymore, and it's not until this goes through a system that re-engages this once this is grabbed onto the rope, and that's how it re-grabs the rope. It's crazy. Yeah, you can see right there. Now it's grabbed onto the rope. That is so cool. I can rent one maybe. Yeah, I don't live anywhere where like that kind of stuff is super available. I know there's people with drones around here because I see them on the Facebook group all the time. People complaining about people with drones. So I'm sure I can find somebody local that has one. Yeah, this was a perfect little reference for me. Okay, that's not right. So that's what I'm thinking. I need sorry. I don't know why I'm tired. I slept like a rock last night. Um oh, This is a little simpler. Yeah, here we go. This is simple. I don't want it to detach from the string at all. It can stay attached to the string at all times. This is exactly what I'm planning on doing. I wasn't even thinking about doing this like 4-wheel thing, but I see how it helps. It's kind of like a bit of a suspension on it. Oh, and you can see where he joined the rope there. Right there. Oops. This is a great little model of what I'm trying to do. Now, what's interesting is the motor in this is kind of the size of the motor I'm planning on using, and Gemini's convinced that it's going to be strong enough. So we'll just have to see, I guess, because I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. Oh, it's a 2-volt motor? Okay, I'm going to be doing a 12-volt motor. I love how fast that is. So, this is totally doable. There's nothing about this that seems too difficult. This is interesting, like the actual thing that connects to the cable. Oh, it doesn't even go over idlers. It's going over like a slide. This is a wild model setup. That monorail's cool. I used to be obsessed with trains as a kid, actually, but not like these trains, like locomotives, steam engines. Yeah, this is doable. We're on the right track here. That's a huge, like, just looking at the diameter of the wire versus the diameter of the thing that the car's attached to. Look how huge that is in comparison. And it doesn't seem to really be an issue. So that was one of my concerns. But it seems like that's not going to be a big problem, so that will be fine. What else do I need to figure out for this? So I've got figured out kind of the way I'm going to tension this. Just going to figure that out on the fly, but it's going to be pretty straightforward, I think. The cable, I think I know what cable I need. We're going to do this steel cable. Hooking up the motor is going to be fine. I'm going to use since this is a bike wheel, I'm just going to take the sprocket that already exists on the bike wheel. Oh, I want it direct drive though. I don't want it to be ratcheting, but whatever. I'll literally just glue it together or whatever if I want to change direction. But I will mostly be driving this in one direction. The reason I was thinking about changing the direction, having it so I could go back and forth, is because there's so many bushes down here and trees and stuff. I know over time it's going to overgrow into the path of the wire. So eventually I want to build a weed whacker that I can clip onto here and send down. And it would be really useful if that weed whacker could go down and then I could just bring it back up and, like, manually sort of control it as I go down just to make sure that it's clearing the way and not getting stuck. And then just send it down the other side instead of having it have to wrap around, because I'm assuming it, in order to fit all those parts in there, I'd want it to be kind of long. So probably too long to wrap around this. But we'll see. That's going to be a part 2, I think. I'm not going to worry about that for this video because don't think it's don't think it's going to be necessary. I actually looked down the hill today and there is a clear shot through the woods, and I'm only going to need to go down there with like a hedge trimmer and like a pruning tool to sort of clear the branches that are in the way. So that's that. This is all a verification session. I'm just trying to identify if there's anywhere that I'm going to get stuck that's going to like totally destroy the project. But I'm not really seeing anything that's going to be a major issue. I'm going to have to pour some sort of footing down here, which is fine. Getting concrete down there is going to be super annoying. I guess I could drive my truck down there. It's probably what I'm going to have to do. I'm literally going to be buying walkie-talkies for this project. I've been meaning to get some anyways because it'd be so useful in here because we can't use our cell phones. There's already footings for this side because there was a deck there. So I will be utilizing those. Yo, rowboat, what's going on? I will be using those. For sure. And then, yeah, at the bottom, I need some sort of landing. So to figure out the actual cable car setup, thinking we go with something pretty standard. How big is this going to be? Pretty big, I think. Like maybe like 12 inches by like 7 inches. Why didn't it let me do a line here? That's right. That's right. It's the only way. Oops. And then like maybe it's like 4 inches wide. Oh no, it needs to be 7 inches wide, I guess. Kind of like that shape. So pretty big. So I'll be able to put like 20 mice in this. I can shell it out. What? You know what the plan for this gondola is, right, Robo? Did I tell you? I don't remember. I swore Rosenberg knew, but he didn't know at all. So I feel like I've missed a bunch of people. Okay. Okay, so I have a mouse problem on my property and I want to get rid of the mice, but I don't want to kill them. So I'm going to be building a 250-foot gondola system So I can trap the mice in these gondola-shaped traps, live trap them, and every morning I can strap them up to this gondola, send them down 250 feet down my property, and then at the bottom there will be some sort of way to open up the bottom of these traps and release the mice into the wilderness. And then the gondolas will come back up to me. What do you think of that? Oops. Do I not have a... Yes, that's the reaction I need. That is the reaction I need. Perfect. Perfect. It's entirely... All of this work will be because I just feel guilty about killing mice. And I don't even like mice. I just don't want to be destroying them, you know? So this is what I'm thinking. I want to give them the best view possible. Because they deserve a good view, I think, while they're taking this, the ride of their lives. Well, this is a total estimation, but it looks to me about 250 feet down the hill. It could be a lot more than that, could be a lot less than that. I haven't measured yet. I have to measure it. Yeah, so I will cut out acrylic pieces for this. And then I obviously somehow have to figure out how to trap them in here. It's not enough to keep them 100% from coming back. It would need to be like 2 or 3 miles away. But it should really deter them from coming back. It's like 250 feet away, but it's like a couple hundred feet down. So it's a long uphill battle for them to get back, and I can just keep sending them down. I can just keep sending them down. It takes zero effort to actually trap them. The effort is relocating them, or the guilt is killing them. So this is worth it to me to just see if this helps reduce the population and lets them kind of like, if the same mouse ends up coming back up 2 or 3 times, I feel like by the 4th time they'll realize, okay, it's not worth that trek. There's a lot of places for them to live down in the hill. So I'm thinking it'll at the very least, it'll just make it more annoying for them, and they'll just end up doing their own thing down at the bottom of the hill instead of keep coming back up. But this is the worst case scenario. If it literally doesn't help at all, at the very least I can use this gondola personally to get things down the hill when I need things down the hill and I don't want to physically carry them. But I think it's worth a shot. I can't imagine every single. They're deer mice. They're the worst. And I'm like a bit of a hypochondriac when it comes to like hantavirus and stuff. Even though it's like exceedingly rare, um, I still just don't want them around. I want to get them out of here, but I don't like them. Um, I don't like them at all, but I don't want to kill them. Makes me feel guilty. So I need some way of trapping them in here. So I need some way of trapping them in here, but I want the bottom to be totally free to open up and allow them out. So I think the trap should be at the top. Bucket traps work really well, but this is kind of shallow for a bucket trap to be effective. So I am thinking of doing more of like the tin traps with the doors and whatnot. And I am wondering if I can just buy these tin traps and just like rip the mechanism out. They are $22 each, which is I'd get 2 of these. Tin trap. Can I just buy the mechanism? Yeah, is this a crab trap style? It's got so there's a little ramp in here, and then there's this door piece. So there's this door piece, and then when they go past the door and they stand on the ramp falls and it lifts the door up. And so the only option they have is to move further into the trap, and then once they move further into the trap, the ramp lifts back up again and reopens the door. And apparently they're super effective. I could just make these, but my concern is like how heavy, the weight needs to be specific, and deer mice are really small. So I'm gonna need to figure out, like, I'll have to do some tests on the actual trap. But then if I just had one of these mounted on top of this, and then maybe had like a little staircase, self resetting. Okay, yeah, that's what I need. Okay, are you like pretty knowledgeable about mice? Mousetrap collector. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't need all this. Ooh, that's nice having a bait. I this guy, yeah, Sean Woods. Yeah, I've seen so many of his videos. That's so funny. Um, I get like I get like super into crazy niche topics all the time, and so I relate to that so hard. This seems insane. Like I feel like those runway doors, you do a couple of those, that's enough. I just want to see if somebody's printed some uh, mouse trap. Yeah, so something like this. How does this work? Yeah, this is just a door. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like the little flag, but it seems like the concept all you really need is that little. Okay. All you really need is just like some sort of one-way door. Really simple. I don't need to overcomplicate it. It is the issue with 3D printed ones is risk of ice. That's true. That's true. I will be doing it out of ABS. I feel like do they bite ABS? I don't know. I actually don't have a I have quite a bit of black ABS, but that's just like a bucket trap. Um if I make my mouse traps out of 3D printed parts, will the mice try and eat the PLA or ABS and get sick? Hmm. The thing is, yeah. So I definitely want to avoid um there being too much because this Gemini was bringing up a good point. Like having layer lines in these prints, there's going to be a lot of bacteria being able to grow in the layer lines, and it's going to be impossible to wash out. But luckily with this, most of this is going to be acrylic. That'll be easy to clean. There's going to be some PLA things. Um, and this whole thing's pretty gimmicky. I think I can probably redesign this later, but I'm gonna have to do a 3D printed thing anyways because that's gonna be the sponsor on it. So um, I kind of might not be the best solution for it. I can talk about that too, but uh, just for the cute factor, I think it's important that it looks as adorable as possible. Um, I think I need some sort of so for the release when this gets to the bottom, the release is extremely important. I want it so that it only releases when it gets to the bottom. And so I was originally thinking of having just like an arm that sticks up here, and then when the arm hits a thing at the bottom, it opens it up. And then the issue with the arm is it could hit a branch or something on the way down and open it up prematurely. So now I'm thinking some sort of magnetic latch. You know, when it passes by a magnet, it pulls it out, and that allows the bottom to drop. And that way nothing else could trigger it except for that other magnet. So I'm kind of thinking that might be the way to go, but I've got to do it in a way that's super reliable. Get your bag though. Yeah, I mean it's I definitely would like to start making some money making these videos. That would be nice. um, then I can just go crazier. I'll just start going crazier. So yeah, and then they can just they move kind of. So yeah, this great question because we were actually just looking at where did it go? We were looking at gondolas here. This is probably the best video I've seen, the closest to what I want to do. So, can I slow this down? Let me pop this onto the YouTubes. Yeah, so you've got a few different features. So you've got the bull wheel, which is this thing, and this is what's motorized, and this is what the main cable wraps around, and you have one on each side. And so for mine, I'm going to be doing this kind of thing. So this is my bull wheel. This will be a bike. I don't know if 5 million's in sights, but I you know I will always appreciate my I'll always appreciate you guys. This is like it's so cool to me that you guys want to watch me do this dumb stuff. This is going to be a bike rim, just like a 26-inch bike rim, and I'm going to drive it with the sprocket that's on the bike rim here, with a motor that's attached somewhere over here, and so this is designed to sit on a frame, a wooden frame that this can slide along the wooden frame so that I can loosen or tension the cable because I want to be able to take it apart if I need to. So that's the first part. That's the bull wheel. So there's one up top and there's one down at the bottom here. There'll be one down here. And then you have these, like, I don't know what these are called, but they're like basically idlers. And so you can see you have the horizontal line going like this, and then this allows you to change the angle of the rope. But they're done in a way so that they're on these pivots, so that you can see as the thing moves past, these hooks, which is what the gondola will be attached to, they're attached to the rope in a way that allows them to wrap around the bull wheel and then also go under these idlers. And because there's this pivot here, they go under the idlers and they can pivot out of the way without like messing up the string too much. Yo, Matthias. Yeah, I can do that for sure. That's a good idea. I don't have paint on my thing, but yeah, so those allow it to go. So that allows the string to change direction, and it's the same up in the top, except instead of the wheels being at the top, they're underneath. Yeah, so now the string is on top of the wheels, and it works in the same way. So in my case, I've only designed it right now with a single wheel. I just discovered that like pivoting wheel, that pivoting double wheel thing. So I'll do that here. I'll do the pivoting thing here because I think that's really cool, and I think it'll work. And so the line's going to come across flat, and then it's going to go over those four wheels, which will allow me to start sloping. And my slope is a lot harder than what that one was doing. My slope's going to be like this probably. And then it'll have to flatten out at the bottom. So that's how it works. When driving with a sprocket and chain, I wonder about frictional losses compared to gears or direct. Probably not worth removing it and going to something different, but you might want to upsize the motor a little versus what you do with a direct or gear drive. That's a good point. The reason I'm actually thinking about doing that is I originally did want to go direct drive on this, and I was planning on using like a window, a power window motor, because they're super cheap. They're 12 volt, nothing special. They've got the worm gear built in there, but they drive pretty fast. And so it would, if I did a direct drive from that to this, for one, the speed would be 6 feet a second of travel for the actual gondola, which seems pretty fast. So I want to gear it down, and I can gear it down to like 1 foot a second. I think that would be fine. Honestly, if it goes super slow, that's all good. The reason I want to do the sprocket, the other reason, so the sprocket I'll be able to downshift essentially. But the other main reason is to attach to direct drive to a bike wheel seems super hard to me. But if it already has the sprocket on there, it's going to make the install so much easier for me. And I want to do this quickly. If I found a different rim that had like a nicer shaft or something, and I could figure out gears, that would be fine. But and we'll test it out. I might need that. That'll be part of it. I might need the. Yeah, exactly. The window motors. I've seen people make like flight simulators with it, and so like one of those window motors can drive an axis that actually moves an entire human body, which is crazy. Okay, I've got an idea, but it's kind of convoluted. You ever messed around with a nerf? Are you asking me to launch these mice down the hill? Are you asking me to, with pneumatics, launch a mouse? I would do that, but then I'd have to manually load each mouse into the Nerf blaster, I think. And I really don't want to touch them. Right? Like when I saw that, I was blown away. Mice zipline. I could just let gravity do it, but I gotta get the thing back up somehow. The reason I like the the teensy parachutes it always comes back to it. There's so many reasons to go with launching them, but it is the parachutes that's the real issue. The reason I really like the gondola system, where it actually like goes around this bull wheel, so it can go down and then come up without having to change directions, is it's a lot simpler in terms of just like turning on a motor, and I can just walk away, and then I can just have a end stop here. So when the cars actually end up back up here, it hits the end stop, turns the motor off automatically. So I can just hang the traps, press the button, go. I walk away, and then when I come back, they'll be sitting here nice and ready to go. Tiny skis. It's too cute. That would be so cute. Isn't there a squirrel that water skis? I honestly have like this is probably my best mouse solution right now, but she sleeps all day. So and I don't we don't let her out at night where all the mice are. So um she's kind of like she's not on the right shift. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Zipline is honestly like a way better Like it's a way better buzzword. It suits. It would be a better title, but this is. I want this to be more complicated than a zip line. The heck? Just give me 1 second, y'all. Uh, what is this? A tramway from? I could throw some Zoolander imagery into this whole thing. Um, just give me a second, y'all. I'm just trying to do something here. Okay. Okay. Wait. Bum 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 bum. Nice, 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 nice. Give me 1 more second, y'all. Okay. Okay, I gotta hold on. I gotta stay with me. Nerf blasters have a dry fire protection where once a little lever latch is pressed, it allows firing mechanism to move. It's like a okay, so the little Nerf ball or whatever needs to hit the lever. So if you take something like that and place it on the bottom of the carriage, and then put a little speed bump at the bottom that hits that. Okay, let me look at this Nerf dry fire protection mechanism. Dry fire protection mechanism. Oh yeah. Oh, this guy too. This is the best. This is one of the best channels on YouTube. Oh yeah. Mm. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, the disc ones. Nerf disc launcher mechanism. Toys have some of the best engineering out there. This one, this skeet shot disc launcher. I do think that's a good option. The one thing is that though I just need it so that no branch or anything can trigger it. That's why I wanted to do something magnetic. And I was thinking it could be as simple as just literally like a this is the floor. There's a there's a bar that holds the thing up, and at the end of the bar there's a little magnet, and then when it passes by another magnet, it pulls the bar out, and then the floor can fall. Something super simple. Oh, stuff made here is the best. Attempt to get sponsored by either Sandia Peak Tramway or New Mexico or the Banff Gondola. Banff is I'm pretty close to Banff. I haven't gone yet, but I really want to go. I could check it out. I could make that part. No, I don't have time for that, but that is hilarious. Bakugan? I don't even know what Bakugan is. Bakugan mechanism. Okay, I remember these. Okay. That's actually, I didn't even know that's how they worked. You can always just yeah. This I don't know how much I'm supposed to say about it, but this video is already it already has a sponsor on it technically, so I wouldn't be able to get I wouldn't be able to put more on there, but maybe for a part two, or if I do more gondola stuff, that could be something I do. Um, because that is kind of like a wholesome sponsor. I like that. Uh, Oh my gosh, it's already 3? That's crazy. I was supposed to start a stream at 3. Um, but I haven't even. That guy is insane if he just forced it open. It was literally a magnet inside that activated the release. This guy's a savage. I want to see them like explode open. Why didn't he do that? You know what's so cool about this though? Like toy mechanisms, I think they're so special a lot of the times. One day, one day maybe with all of these videos and all these, we on this channel we like to explore mechanisms, and I think it would be so fun to come up with a toy using one or a combination of these mechanisms that we've had to explore in these videos, because that is sort of the ultimate goal. I think some sort of product would be nice, because I don't know if I don't know how long videos are going to be a viable source of or viable career, but I do want to be able to bring something to the world that is like a physical thing. Whoa, they make giant ones? Oh, that's cool. Oh. Magnet inside to activate release might be the easiest, simplest idea too. Well, the thing I like the most about it is there's no tree or anything would be able to actuate it, and it's entirely passive. Yeah, and it's so fun. It's so fun. Not only do they push how mechanical movements can do, you also have to do it in the most manufacturable, like mass manufacturable way possible, and that's like the real beauty, I think, because it's one thing to be able to design a mechanism, but then to be able to figure out how to make it mass producible is a whole engineering challenge on its own. And like I think that's the difference between just understanding it, how mechanisms work, and actually understanding how to like build products. That makes it so much more difficult and so much more interesting. And then when you do figure it out, um, it's it's got to be so satisfying to just see like millions of them roll off the press. My boy Joel has a new video out today. Built a Nerf since we're talking about Nerf. He made a Nerf Claymore. Um, so that's pretty cool. I haven't watched it yet, but I will for sure. Wow, look at that. That looks so good. That looks so good. Yeah, I don't need this. I don't need this much complication. This is insane. Truly amazing how this works, though. Love the Coke bottle too. So I think we've verified the idea for the most part. Um, there isn't a lot about this that seems actually that difficult at all. The difficult part's going to be like just the pure manual labor of it. Climbing that hill is an absolute nightmare, and I'm going to probably have to do it like a million times. But that's okay. I could use the exercise. The scale of it is big. There's going to be some cost, um, which is a bit scary, but I think it's well within the it's well within the range of acceptable for where I'm at right now. Um, Sorry, just give me 1 second. What's the angle of the hill? Um, I would say it's like 30 degrees, probably. It's definitely more than, well, actually I can't say definitely because it's so hard to tell from standing on it, but it's definitely more than more than 45. So, like I'm thinking it's probably like if we're referencing the vertical line, it's probably something like this, which is, oh, that's 40. Okay, so it's I guess it's kind of close to 45. But this is literally just me um totally guesstimating, and it's not consistent either. It changes. What does 30 look like? Yeah, that's steeper than it actually is. There's definitely parts of it that are that, but I think the average is probably closer to 40, I guess. And so I might need some pillars midway to support the sag. Um, a ragamuffin was telling me to look up to do some research on the sag, uh, try and figure out what I'm going to need. I will do that. I should probably actually understand what the slope of this hill is before I start doing any serious math. Um, but it's very likely that it'll need some sort of support midway or even multiple supports midway. Um, and because I have so many trees down there, I probably could just like set up like a clamped system on a tree instead of trying to install my own poles down there because it's going to be an absolute nightmare trying to walk down here and get poles installed. Uh, about the sag, I just have this feeling that it's all going to concentrate towards the bottom of the hill, which could make it hard to keep the gondola from dragging the ground. 100%. Yeah, I think it's gonna like it's probably gonna have some sag here, but it's definitely going to be really droopy right here. So part of that, I'm going to use tension, obviously, and so I am going to like cement the bottom part down, and obviously the top part's fully cemented in, so I will be able to apply some tension to try and pull as much of that out as possible. But it would be honestly, down here, it's a lot easier to work in. I don't have any power or anything down here, but it would be really easy for me to put a post down here with some support. Uh, Up here is obviously really easy to work. Anything kind of in this area is going to be a nightmare to try and do. Like, I'm already looking at the hill and how I'm going to have to sort of clear up the bush around here. That's going to suck. But it's not the worst. It's totally doable. I've climbed the hill before. Not exactly in this spot, but I have climbed it in different areas, and it's definitely doable. I've climbed it with a hedge trimmer, so it's just, it's going to be like a day to actually clear the space and make it clean enough to work there. For the release, battery at bottom of the hill with large error tolerant contacts made to dock. Yeah, like that would work. If I did go that route, I'd want to make the battery obviously like solar powered so that I never have to go down there. But ultimately, if I can do a mechanical solution, that would be ideal, because things corrode, things rust. Last thing I want to do is send a mouse down and then check the system after I walk away and just find full traps at the top of the hill. It's not that big of a deal. I would just send them back down again, but yeah, that's true. I could just make the top post like significantly higher, and that would be totally fine. Um, just drop the mouse from like 30 feet up they'd be fine. But no, even like 10 feet would be totally fine and not that complicated of a setup. But obviously, if it's low to the ground, then I can like do any maintenance I need on it without having to bring a ladder down. Might be better to make the bottom post a tall one. Yeah, the top one is just going to be like convenience height. So I'm only going to make this as high as I need to, so it's like the easiest to stick the trap on. I obviously don't want it so high that I can't reach it, but I don't want it so low that I have to bend down. So like the traps, I have this at like 6 feet high right now, which I think is reasonable. Because there's going to be the hooks that hang off the wire that probably come down like a foot or so, and then hang the traps on that. So that'll be fine. But at the bottom, I will have zero daily interaction with that, so that could be as high as we need. Yeah, totally. I'm going to take a bit of a break here. Not 100% sure if I'm going to come back after the break, but I just got to catch up on a couple things. And then I want to go just like have some food, and I gotta run a couple errands, and then I might come back. But if I don't, I'm definitely gonna be back on Wednesday. I might do tomorrow, although I am gonna be going out of town tomorrow, so which I was supposed to do today. That's why I'm streaming today, because I'm gonna go tomorrow instead. But yeah, it's still pretty early, so there's a good chance I'll be back on later today. But I also need to think of other. I want to just kind of like sit on this for a little bit and brainstorm if there's anything else I'm missing. And I think I'm gonna go just look at the hill a little bit. Project Beaver drop. Well, thank you for being here. Having you guys on the stream is honestly such a good experience for me. It's made me want to, like, this streaming thing is something I was pretty nervous about initially, something I didn't really think had any value other than the fact that I was just like able to capture the process so that I have footage for my videos. but you guys have made it something that is something I look forward to doing. Um, it makes it more fun. It makes all of this more fun, and it makes me want to do the streaming thing more. Um, so, which is actually something I wanted to just address a little bit. I am considering streaming on the main channel. I'll probably wait a little bit because I have that new video out. I just want to let that sit for a little bit. I don't want to mess anything up with the algorithm on that, but I might I might I might start streaming on the main channel just because this has been such a good experience. That might ruin it, and if it sucks with more people, then then we always have this channel to fall back on. And I do kind of like how small this is, so maybe it'll be like a bit of a combo. Like I can stream on the big channel when I actually have things that I'm working on, but when it comes to more like, these sort of just like random streams, I'll stick to the small channel. I'm not too sure, but either way, you guys are the best. You are addictive. I keep coming back. I can't get enough of it. Um, I'm hooked. I'm hooked, and I go through withdrawals. Um, but yeah, it's you guys definitely make this whole thing so worth doing. So I really appreciate getting a little sentimental there, but it really does mean the world to me. Um, so let's see. I might be back on later. Don't know. I'll just show up if I do, but don't count on it because I don't know. Okay. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good rest of the Monday. Um, Ruby, I know it's late for you, so we will be sad forever if you do not. God, no. Okay. Okay, that's some presh. That's some presh, and I fully accept it. Doesn't change anything though. No, we'll see. I might be back. Take it easy, guys. We'll talk soon.